power. Welcome back, folks. We're joined by Guy Williams, President Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, as he does every Monday morning at this hour, and we appreciate that. Guy, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you.
Guy, there's so much going on relative to the economy. Let's start out with the interest rate stock market reversal.
Yeah, it was an interesting week last week. Suddenly everything turned green. Federal Reserve announced what we all knew, which is they weren't going to raise interest rates. Treasury talked about refunding existing debt, and the Treasury refunding was a little bit slimmer than people expected. And suddenly it was good news everywhere. So the thought is, if the Fed is not going to raise rates, it will only be a short while before they start to lower rates, which I think is very optimistic. The Fed is telling us they're not going to lower rates, and I think the market is going to prevent them from lowering rates, particularly with the level of deficits they're facing. But the intriguing thing is the stock market completely reversed. All the indexes turned green, and the news was economy slows, unemployment picks up, job is not as robust as expected, and suddenly everybody poured into stocks. So it's a little counterintuitive. If the economy is slowing and business is not as good as it used to be, why is it a time when you want to invest in stocks? And I think the market is looking well past early next year and thinking, okay, the Fed's going to lower rates and that will stimulate the economy again. But it was definitely an interesting week with interest rates dropping, stock market prices going up, and people expecting, it's Goldilocks time. I really do. I hope it is. That would be wonderful.
Do we really believe, though, that the Fed's going to respond that quickly to that and start dropping rates?
I don't think they can. I think the challenge the Fed has right now, and it's something they really don't want to discuss or talk about, is the deficit is stuck. And it's stuck on a trajectory that is going to push it higher year after year. And the challenge is the deficit went up from less than $1 trillion to $1.7 trillion this year, and it's projected to go up again next year. And you have to fund that. Somebody has to buy all those bonds. So the thought that with the deficit going up and the Treasury issuing bonds, that rates can go down is a little bit counterintuitive. So I don't think that the Fed has the ability to push down the long rate. Now they can lower short-term rates, but the long rates, which are the rates that affect mortgages and other things, I think they're going to be stuck until we reach some sort of budget deal.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, because, and I'm sure you read this article about Maersk cutting 10,000 jobs, the shipping industry boom, and they're obviously one of the largest, and they're seeing their profits plummet quarter over quarter. And basically what they're saying is that all of the buying and everything that went on during the pandemic, we're beginning to see that wane, and now we're getting back to the more traditional supply chain. Freight rates are down 58% year over year. Shipping business fell 56%. So it looks like, and now there's a glut of ships out there, which is an interesting dynamic. How does that impact all of what we just talked about?
Well, you're right to focus on shipping because we're really facing a tremendous challenge. The number of containers being shipped has dropped 20% from the peak. So you have a significant drop in volume. You also have poor timing. The shipping companies sort of believe their own press, and when there was a tremendous shortage of ships right after COVID, they all ordered new container ships. So new ships are being built right this minute that are going to be delivered, many of them next year, coming into a market that doesn't need them. So the old ships are going to be scrapped, To give you an idea of how bad it is, there's an index that tracks shipping cost. And shipping prices are now back to the rate that they were in 1989. So if you think about that, it's called the Baltic Dry Exchange Rate, but it tracks shipping prices. So we're back to 1989 prices, and considering inflation, that's 40% less. So you're actually getting 40% less now than you were in 1989. So shippers are really facing a challenge. We're seeing the same thing with truckers. There's an index that measures, it's called Freight Waves Index of Trucking, and 50 is even, neutral between shippers and truckers. It's at 30 right now, which is strongly in favor of shippers. So truckers are getting less per mile, paying more insurance, more maintenance on more expensive trucks. So it really has been a disaster. You had two big trucking companies, Yellow and Convoy, that went out of business, just closed their doors, and the trucks are being sold. So the supply chain has definitely loosened up. There are no constraints at this moment. You can ship anything you want. The price is low. And it really does present a problem for people that are in those industries. Anyone that's a trucker, anyone that's a warehouseman, anyone that's involved in shipping. As you said, Maersk, one of the biggest in the world, is laying off people. Doesn't even apply. It doesn't just apply to shipping. FedEx put out a really interesting announcement that I think the president wishes he hadn't. What he said to his pilots is, American Airlines is hiring. You guys may want to look at jobs over there. It's like, what? You know, FedEx used to be one of the best flying jobs around. You didn't have to deal with pesky passengers. You had pretty dependable schedules. And now FedEx is saying, you know, we have more pilots than we need. Volume is down. Some of you guys may want to go look at flying for American Airlines.
And there's a shortage over there for sure, right?
There is, but they're pushing. He's trying to suggest that they go work for American Airlines feeder airline, which makes no sense. A FedEx pilot can go work for a main